All right, we're going to test this, see if it works. I don't know if I'm live on Twitch, to be honest, because they changed the stream keys, but I'm streaming on Restream, so it should still work. Let me check. If not, today we're just going to stream on YouTube, and I'll fix it tomorrow. Am I live on Twitch is the question. Let's find out. No, I'm live. Okay, it should be working. All right. Twitch got hacked the other day, so they reset everybody's stream key. But it didn't affect my channel, so that's good. What's going on, Young? How's everybody doing today? Pretty good day. We had a nice little gap up on ES, gap up on NASDAQ. They did, they passed the debt ceiling bill. So that's what's giving us this little green day. Problem that we're running into is we didn't really fill the gap on the upside, and we are running into a lot of resistance on SPY and Q. So a little worrying for tomorrow, especially with the sell signal. We still have a weekly sell on the bot coming in on SPY. It's actually turned off on ES. So if we go to ES, it turned off. So we don't have that on ES. We're still bullish on ES. SPY, I think you would have to have a bullish day tomorrow in order to turn that sell signal off. So hopefully we can get some buyers tomorrow. But we are hitting the OTS trail. We are hitting the monthly VWAP on SPY and ES. Monthly VWAP is a little higher on ES, so we didn't hit it just yet. But we do have a sell signal coming in on ES and a sell signal on the OTS. Same thing for SPY as well. So if we do close like this, it is looking a little bearish for tomorrow. I think we also, no, we're not there just yet on Qs. So Qs doesn't look too bad. We are back above the 200 EMAs. So if we go to the 30-minute here, you can see the 200 EMA. We are back above the 200 EMA on SPY and on Qs. So the uptrends are beginning. We haven't started to kind of like curl the 200 yet. So we don't have the 200 kind of leading us up. But we are shifting kind of into an uptrend. Yesterday on stream, I told you guys to watch out for these levels for the volume profile of the entire range. And we broke the POC and the value area high today. So we broke the value area high, started to push towards the previous range. So if we go back, we can kind of look at this range here, and we have the value area and the POC there. So around like 44.30 to 44.50 is mostly resistance. It's not too strong, but that's kind of the area that I would target. And we had a nice little move today, kind of putting in a massive node on the high, not a whole lot of volume towards the low. So we are creating that P-shaped profile. But for now, we did put in a pivot on the high, and we're pulling back off of that pivot. So a little bit of resistance coming in. Unless you can get back above that pivot, it does look slightly bearish. What I do like is if you look at this other pivot, this 30-minute pivot here, we are holding on to that pivot. So nice little support flip. So if we can hold on to that pivot, we should be able to break the pivot up here around 44.18, and then we'll get a nice little boost into like 44.30, 44.40. Funny enough, we have not filled the gap. So we pushed up, we started testing the gap. The gap goes all the way up till like 442, and we only went to like 441. So we're about 50 cents to $1 away from filling that gap on SPY. Yeah, ES was really strong today, Young. Levi, let's see what you said. You were struggling with your TA today on ES? Or what? You said on SPY? There really wasn't a whole lot of TA to be done on SPY today, to be honest. You gapped up, so originally after the gap up, you're just gonna wait for the strength to come in, right? Watch the first 30 minutes of the day, see if you can maintain that gap, and you did. You consolidated a little bit, then you broke the high, so we were clearly bullish. And then as it was pushing towards the gap fill, you started to consolidate. So you had a very bullish open, very bullish follow through, but then you kind of consolidated. And the consolidation is not bearish. The consolidation is neutral, right? But then we started to lose the range low of the consolidation. So you got a little bit of bearish pressure. But to be honest, man, there's not a whole lot of TA to be done here. You could have done a little TA on like ES, and you could have looked at the pre-market session and kind of looked at how we reacted to the pre-market session, but it was pretty much just straight up all day. And then we had a little bit of pullback around like 1 p.m. Not a whole lot to talk about, to be honest. There wasn't like anything, there wasn't any like fake outs, there wasn't anything surprising. Pretty much just a bullish gap up with a very small reversal.
What happened to Tesla, Deja? Fucking thing moved, huh?
I don't know if they had any news. I think Johnny said they had something, but I like him above 800. If it breaks 800 here, I think it goes to 820 pretty easily.
I think you're gonna get a lot of sellers here at this level.
Yeah, 800 is huge. 795 is huge. Hey, Tiny Cerise, what's going on, guys? Spartan. Bitcoin looks fine, man. I think I saw a lot of people on Twitter panicking about this little pullback. This pullback is very healthy. We just had a massive run of $15,000, and people are panicking because we're pulling back $2,000. I think as long as Bitcoin holds above 52.7, 53,000, it looks really good. I think you're going to go into 58 to 60,000 pretty easily. If it gets back below 52.7, then I'm going to close my longs and we'll wait for a new trade. I've been long since 39.6. So we are happily in profit right now. Yeah, Levi, the only short you really could have taken on SPY today is when it lost to the POC or when you retraced back inside the value area high. Besides that, it didn't really give you any opportunities today. You either bought the opening drive or you sat out. Look at the flow on Tesla, 100 million in calls came in. Let's take a look. I'll pull up Cheddar Flow. We'll take a look at it. These SPX calls that came in today were ridiculously big. You had one come in for 50 million almost, which in all honesty, in SPX, that's not massive. Like if that was 50 million in Tesla or like SPY, that'd be ridiculous. SPX is where the big boys play. But even on SPX, that is a big order because typically those orders are broken up into multiple orders. Like we'd see like 10 million, 15 million, another 10 million. It's very rare that you see 50 million just in one order. So people were buying up SPX today for sure. You had another 14 million come in at lunchtime, and then another 3 million come in at 10:30. Let's take a look at Tesla. Why is it not clearing my filters? Here we go. Let's go to opening orders. There actually are no opening orders today for Tesla on Cheddar Flow. Let's get rid of opening orders. Let's go to unusual. So actually, I take that back. The reason that Cheddar Flow is not finding any opening orders is because the way they find their opening orders is if the volume is higher than the open interest. So with things that are like Tesla that have a lot of open interest, have a lot of volume, it's not always going to find the opening orders. So there can be opening orders that are not inside that filter, is my point. Yeah, there's a lot of calls coming in today. You're not wrong. Look at the, what is that? Is that Friday? Yeah, that's tomorrow. For tomorrow's expiration, 790s and 800s. There's a ton of them. They've been coming in all day. Some just came in, what, 6 minutes ago. The biggest order of the day just came in very recently. Let me screenshot this. We'll post it in the channel. I don't see the 80 million order though. Is it a dark pool order? No, there's no dark pools. Yeah, I don't see that. Any thoughts on Goodyear? Let's see. It's got a really nice cupping pattern. Might go for like kind of a cup and handle on the high here. I do like this little local uptrend. I do like the pivot reclaim. What does the bot say? The bot has a weekly buy. It's in a daily buy from around 1580. 4-hour buy, 30-minute, not yet. So it looks pretty good. Long time frames are in buy signals. You are definitely uptrending. I do like the pivot. If you can hold above 18, I think it's safe. If it gets below 18, then I'd be a little worried. You do have earnings coming up as well, so a couple weeks and you'll have earnings. If it stays above the pivot, you'll probably just keep trending all the way up until the high. Put like a little cupping pattern in. All the way up into 2050. It was on unusual whales, gotcha. Let's take a look at altcoins real fast. I know a lot of people on Twitter have been posting altcoins recently. Whoa, look at Chili's. Chili's is ripping. It's up 25% in the past hour. 4-hour buy was clean, weekly buy and daily buy coming in. Daily buy was really clean. It's already up 22% on the daily buy. Phantom weekly buy and daily buy playing out. No low time, or actually low time frame isn't a buy. New 4-hour buy coming in on Ample. Keep an eye on that. Luna playing out the weekly and the daily, looking pretty good. KSM trying to break out as well. Algo doesn't look too bad if you break above $2. I think Algo looks pretty good above 2. I like E-Gold above 254. That doesn't look too bad. This thing's finally starting to move. Alchemex, daily buy coming in. I'd keep an eye on that. Could probably run to 300. Ren's got a pretty solid uptrend here. A lot of resistance around 120 to 130 though. Nice daily buy on Alt Perp recently. Weekly buy still playing out. 4-hour just broke resistance. That doesn't look too bad. Kava doesn't look too bad. Get above 655. BNB starting to climb. Link has a really nice resistance here. Look at that daily resistance. Break above that, above like 28. Looks pretty solid. Solana hitting some weekly resistance. Ethereum looks really good. Got to break a 4-hour resistance. Look at that 4-hour ascending triangle. That's clean. Let's look at the losers. Let's see. A lot of these don't look too good. What do I think about DOT? Let's take a look. Breaking weekly resistance. I like that. Weekly buy is already deep in profit. Daily buy deep in profit. Yeah, you've got a buy signal on all the major time frames. Looks pretty good. If it can hold above like 34, I think it looks pretty strong. Probably go back up to like 40, 43. Thing you got to watch out for is Bitcoin, because look at how strong Bitcoin is. The weekly buy is deep in profits, so is the daily. So when Bitcoin keeps taking off like this, it's gonna take the alts with it. Meaning, I think the alts are gonna go down a little bit. People are gonna pull out of the alts and put their money into Bitcoin if it skyrockets. If it slowly climbs, that's when the altcoins will follow. And you'll have like a complete bull market for every single asset. But if Bitcoin just melts faces, like if it goes straight to like 60K, the altcoins are going to struggle. ES still holding this pivot for now. I think as long as it holds above 94, it doesn't look too bad. The yields are pretty bullish today, up 3% on the 10-year. Like I said, it's probably one of the main reasons big tech is struggling. Typically when the yields do really well, growth doesn't do too hot. Facebook down 0.6, Netflix down 0.6. Amazon doing really well though, hitting that 333-1 pivot. Microsoft hitting our target at 295. Next target on that would be around 300, then 305. Apple getting really close to the target, around 145 would be the target on that. Facebook hitting our resistance and then nuking off of it. If it can hold above 337, I think it looks pretty good back into 341 and then 345. Netflix hitting our target here around 643, but kind of topping out a little bit. Hey, LM, what's going on? I really hope, hey, what time is it? We got about 30 minutes. I hope ES can close above 44.10 today. We'll turn off this sell signal. Because the last time we had a sell signal, it was the top and we nuked. Hopefully we can turn that off. In order to turn that off, you have to break the trail. So we need like 10 more points. This is actually a nice little scalp here. How many points was that? Yeah, that could have been a nice scalp. If you bought the pivot retest here, gave you a nice little 10-point move. Beautiful doji close there. Whenever you see dojis like this off pivots, they can give you very good scalps, no matter what time frame it is. Obviously, the higher the time frame, the better, but even if they're on like 15 minutes, 5 minutes, not too bad. It's actually putting in a really nice 30-minute close here. If we close like this, hopefully it closes towards the top of the candle. That'd be a strong reversal. Did you guys see CEI today? You guys on stream, we talked about it in Discord. We called it out this morning when it was up 20%, and then we looked again like what, an hour or two later, and it was up 90%. This has been the most traded stock in the stock market for like a week and a half. Put it into perspective, it's traded 900 million shares today. It has 104 million share float, so it has a 9x rotation on shares. That is a pump and dump for you. Another big mover today was Duolingo. This actually looks pretty good. Retesting IPO. You can see the IPO back here. Retesting IPO, bouncing immediately. Really strong reaction to the IPO retest. Need to put that on my watch list, actually. It's one to keep an eye on. Another good mover today was Snow. Snow had a nice little bounce back above the monthly VWAP. If you can hold above 325, you're going to go on a run here. 345 would be pretty easy. And then the overall target would be the pivot around 390. This trend is just really strong. We go back to my other chart. We talked about this a long time ago. If you guys remember back in like May, there was this really big falling wedge, big bull div coming in, one of the best reversal patterns. Broke out of that wedge and then uptrended ever since. Beautiful price action. Another one to keep an eye on is Boeing. Boeing is breaking the trend finally, and we even came back to retest it today, and we're still holding above it. So as long as it can hold above that trend, this actually looks really good. The problem with Boeing is it's way too choppy. So if you wanted to play Boeing, it's best to play it with shares, not with options, because options get chopped out very easily. The oil companies that we've been talking about recently are still climbing. MUR, MRO, very nice gains on those. It's funny that oil's not doing too great today. It's up 1.5, not doing too bad, but those companies are still climbing. It's actually a really nice reversal on oil. It's up 5% from the low, so I guess it is doing pretty good. How's oil look on the bot? Let's see. Pretty sure it's just buy everything. Yeah, buy. The daily buy has been long. 14%. Weekly buy just closed last week, so that's pretty good. This is a good sign here that the sell was very short. That means our trend is very strong on the weekly. It's funny, I talked about the PC, the put to call ratio yesterday on stream, and I mentioned that when it spikes, it's typically a really good buy signal. But this didn't spike too high. You could have spiked a lot higher on this. But you can see how it spiked yesterday, and then we nuked, giving us a good buy signal. I also really like that VIX is back below 20. It's also back below this trend. So we look at the trend on the weekly, basically since COVID, ignoring the major spike of COVID, we're back below that trend. So pretty bullish for SPY and Qs long term here. Dixie was a little red today, but we're still holding above that weekly 200 EMA. USD JPY still breaking out too, so the dollar looks pretty strong. Pretty much every single sector was green today except for utilities. Strongest sector being retail. Hey Nahal, what's going on? Penn was up pretty strong this morning, but you're hitting a lot of resistance. You're not bullish until you get back above like 79.80. Snapchat had a really good day. I like Snapchat's buy signal on the OTS. I like that it's reclaiming the monthly VWAP. I think you could get the gap fill around $80 pretty soon. I studied Wyckoff a little bit, but it's not something that I use like every single day. I don't like any form of technical analysis that puts that much weighting on like predicting the future. That's why I don't really like Elliott Wave. I like Wyckoff for the very basics, but when it gets into the point where you're like predicting like 4 points away, like you're looking at 4 different impulse moves or pullbacks, I don't believe in that sort of thing. I like looking at what the market is doing right now and predicting the next move. If you're going past the next move, you're wasting your time, in my opinion. Like when people are like drawing out their chart and they're like, okay, if this goes up here and then pulls a 618, but then it does a 618 extension, but then it pulls a 382, it's like I don't understand why you're wasting your time, you know what I mean? Try to predict the next move and then the next move and then the next move. Take it point by point. Trying to predict like 4 different waves is just completely pointless in my eyes. And Wyckoff doesn't do that all the time, but for the most part, like if you follow people on Twitter who are using the Wyckoff method, that's what they start doing. They start trying to predict like 4 waves out. That's the biggest gripe that I have with Elliott wave traders too, is like they try to predict like 5 different waves and then one of their waves is wrong, so then they go into like a secondary prediction. It's just a complete waste of time, to be honest. Very nice bullish profile that we had today, but it's kind of showing you how a bullish profile can turn bearish, because we had this really nice, let me do it this way. So like the first half of the day, we're clearly bullish, massive volume towards the high, really nothing going on towards the lows. But then if we extend it to today, like the entire day, we started building a lot of value down towards the low. And then we even just retested the value area low bearishly. So this kind of shows you how a very bullish profile can repair itself in the same day, because this is creating an imbalance, right? You have an imbalance down here. Like the actual imbalance is on the high, but it makes the low imbalanced, if that makes sense. Like you're a bullish imbalance, which means the low needs to be repaired. So this is kind of how you don't have to wait for the next day to repair yourself. You could repair it in the same day. So if we go back to like what was it? These 2 days here. This is how you repair a profile on the next day. So like we have imbalance and then no volume here, inefficiency, right? And then we repair it the next day. We come over and repair it. But that kind of did it. We did that exact pattern, but in the same day. This is a very bearish retest here. it'd be easier if I pulled up the developing value area. You can see right here. You see that retest? We kind of did it here too, actually. Look at that. Failure. That's the first time we failed the value area low the entire day. So that was kind of showing you that we were a little bearish. Retest right there, very bearish. And then retest right there, very bearish. Biden's getting ready to talk in the next few minutes. He's talking about vaccines, I believe. Yeah, Rusty, that's a pretty good point. It is funny that a lot of LE wave traders are very bearish on like things that are extremely bullish. A lot of LE wave guys are, they do like to be contrarian. It's a good point. I think it's because they see that if they make a prediction with like LE wave and they say they draw out like 3 to 4 predictions and say like 2 to 3 of them are correct and they're being contrarian, it's like double clout, right? They get clout for being contrarian, they get clout for being right on their waves. This is a nasty sell-off here. It could be putting in a bull div, but it looks like it's going to retest the open. Watch this little bull div here. It's putting in a pattern that could bull div. It's not confirmed, but this pattern is a very strong pattern that leads into a bull div.
What is the Grim Reaper saying right now?
Basically, whenever you run into like this perfect swinging pattern like this, if the momentum that you're looking at, either on like Momo, RSI, whatever, it doesn't matter. If it starts to form that bull div, all you need is a bunch of buyers to come in, and that bull div will confirm very easily. I'm not sure. I'm afraid to watch that on stream because YouTube's being very, very iffy about vaccines. Do I trade commodities or miners? No. I trade them every now and then if I think this sector is going to outperform. But this year, commodities and miners specifically have been getting destroyed. My biggest sector trade that I took on miners recently was on SQM, and it was last year. We had a big sector trade on lithium, and we made a lot of money on that. But this year we tried to play gold and silver and didn't go too hot. I used to trade oil pretty heavily back in the day when I first got into futures trading. But then I started trading ES and NASDAQ, and I like that a lot more.
Bro, is she dead ass? Kamala Hart. Read chat real quick. This is crazy insane. She's saying we need to pay off our debt. Saying, especially from the $8 trillion from the Trump administration. Oh my god.
10 is still a nice play. I don't think I've ever looked at 10 on a ticker. What ticker? Does it have a futures ticker? 10 futures. Do they have a CME ticker, or are they not traded on the CME? Or they'd be COMEX, I believe, right? I don't see a COMEX ticker here. Yeah, I can't even chart this. What's a good ticker for 10? Nasty sell off here. Doesn't look like it wants to complete that bull div. Oh, that's not good. The reason we're probably dropping is a reporter asked Biden, "Do you support the short-term debt ceiling deal?" And he said, "We have to see if the deal is done. I'm not sure of that yet." JJT, what is this? Bloomberg 10 subindex. Oof, that's a choppy chart. It is climbing. I see what you're saying. It's a nice trend, but how do you trade this? Disgusting price action. Gotta tell you, man, I don't know a single person in my entire circle that trades 10. I don't even think Dime trades 10. I don't even think Dime knows what 10 is. And Dime's our big commodity guy. Guy's got fucking thousands and thousands of dollars of paperweights, aka silver. The one commodity, I guess you can call it a commodity. I guess the biggest one that I like is uranium. Uranium and then lithium. I think lithium is very good too, especially if you're looking at like a 5 to 10 year time horizon. I think either uranium or lithium are going to outperform most metals. All right, here we go. Last 5-minute candle. We are approaching low of day. Is it going to make a low of day on the last 5 minutes? Do swing failure patterns take place in equity as much as they do in crypto? I wouldn't say as much as they do in crypto, but they definitely are pretty active in equities. The biggest thing that you need for a swing failure pattern is typically low liquidity. Low liquidity in certain areas, right? Or very high liquidity that people want to grab. So, like, did we have one recently on Bitcoin? And kind of show you an example. These are little low ones on 5 minutes. We're not really looking at that. Let's look at a higher time frame. So kind of like, I guess that, yeah, there's one right here. So we kind of have a swing failure pattern of that low, right? So the big thing that needs to happen for these type of patterns to work is like kind of in like this area here, there needs to be like low liquidity. So they need to be able to push it very quickly. But then down here, like where it bottoms out, there needs to be high liquidity because that's the liquidity that they're trying to grab. They're trying to like stop people out and grab their stop losses as their entries, right? So like here's the level and like you're nuking down into the level and then you find like buy pressure. So where you're nuking, there needs to be like low enough liquidity that you can push right through that level. But then where you start to bottom out, there has to be high liquidity. So the one thing that equities seems to have much better than crypto is their liquidity is pretty well distributed. Like throughout the levels, equities is pretty well distributed. But crypto is not like that. Crypto is more, there's like massive levels and there's like no levels. Then there's massive levels, you know what I mean? It's not very easily distributed. So that distribution in equities makes it a lot harder to have those very strong like swing failure patterns. Like you can see them on like ES and SPY every now and then. They're just not very common. Like you can almost call this right here. Let me go to my other chart so it's not so messy. You can almost call this right here a swing failure because you're losing the wick, but you're reclaiming it. So every single one of these wicks could be considered a swing failure. They're just not as clean. And you have a swing failure like right here as well. On the high, you see that one? Same thing up here, you have swing failures up there as well. So they do happen in equities, just not as easily. Very bad close. Was that a low a day? Let's see. No, it did. Yeah, it made a low a day. It made a low a day right before the close. If you don't count the gap. But all right, guys, that's the close. We closed pretty strong today. Things you want to watch out for tomorrow is more news on the debt ceiling bill. They have not fully passed it, I guess. I thought it was set in stone until Biden just said that he doesn't really know if it's set in stone. But watch out for more news on that tomorrow. And that's pretty much it. I think we have 2 Fed talks tomorrow. Let me check the calendar. Let's see, Friday. No, that was actually today. We had Fed talks today. We have nothing tomorrow for Fed talks. We do have some some economic numbers coming out at 8:30, and that's pretty much it. So watch out for that. 10 o'clock and 8:30, we have some economic numbers. And like I said, watch out for the bill. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is pretty standard tomorrow. I'm going to post some more levels after I close the stream. So if you guys want to watch out for the big levels for like big tech, maybe if you want to take some same day lottos, I'll post some levels for SPY and Qs as well. So keep an eye on that. But all right, guys, I'll be streaming tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you guys are in Discord, I'll see you guys for the morning session at 9:30. And yeah, that's all I got for you. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.